from all parties. If you wish to testify on any particular petition before us this evening using the Zoom platform, please use the raise hand feature. You can raise your hand at any time and we will recognize you at the appropriate time for the presentation of evidence for each case. If in person, please hand staff your speaker's card. Planner Robin Keefe will be moderating the hybrid meeting and will be asked to provide names of those individuals that wish to speak. I'd like to call the meeting of the City of Wildwood's Board of Adjustment to order. Board members present today are Bob Morris, board member, Arnie Sprunger, board member, Dave Bertolino, alternate member, Max Gilman, alternate member, and myself, Jared Frank, chair for tonight's meeting. The Department of Planning staff present is Joe Vunich, Director of Planning, and Robin Keefe, Planner. City Attorney Sarah Rutherford and Court Reporter Courtney Talman are also present on Zoom. First, I offer into the record of the affidavit of publication pertaining to today's meeting, December 18th, 2025, and take official notice of the zoning ordinance of City of Wildwood, including Chapter 400, Article 2, authorizing and establishing the Board of Adjustment's powers and duties. Now let me explain the hearing procedure. Please be aware the information I'm about to describe is also provided on the Board of Adjustment's public hearing procedure handout, which was available online prior and up to tonight's meeting. This hearing is informal in its nature. However, the meeting's proceedings will be recorded by a reporter for future transcription if needed. The petitions are called in the order listed on the agenda. As the petition is called, I will ask the Department of Planning staff member to read each request into the record. Thereafter, the Department of Planning will have an opening remarks and a brief slide presentation. Then the petitioner or his representative will be asked to state their name and address, be sworn in by the court reporter, make a brief presentation to the board explaining the nature of the requested variance, and present such evidence and witness testimony that may evidence the practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship that warrant the variance. The board will only consider the unique character of the property to determine whether they warrant the granting of a variance. The petitioner's presentation shall be limited to 15 minutes total, inclusive of any questions posed by the board, unless such time is extended by the chair. Board members may ask questions to clarify the facts of the petitioner's presentation. When the board is satisfied with the material presented by the petitioner, the chair will then ask if there is anyone present or online who'd like to speak in favor or opposition to the requested variance. Each speaker will be asked to provide their name and address, be sworn in, and then provide their evidence and oral testimony. Witness testimony shall be limited to 5 minutes, inclusive of any questions posed by the board, unless such time is extended by the chair. Procedurally, the petitioner may request a continuance at any time during the hearing prior to a call for the vote in order to bring in additional evidence or testimony. The board may also continue the present proceedings, After the submission of testimony and evidence from all interested parties, the board will ask a staff person to provide the Department of Planning's report on this matter if requested by any member of the board, the petitioner, or any individual that is participating in person or online. Once all witnesses have been heard, the chair will call for a motion to grant or deny with or without conditions. Then the board will vote. At that time, the presentation of evidence relating to the petition is concluded and no further evidence will be permitted. The board may make a decision today. 4 members of the board must vote in favor of the variance for it to be approved. If a variance is approved, the petitioner has 6 months to obtain the necessary permits or establish the use, or it will expire. If the board's decision is unfavorable, the petitioner has the right of appeal to the St. Louis County Circuit Court. This appeal must be done within 30 days of the decision. Ms. Keefe, are there any questions at this time?
If there are any questions in the audience at this time, raise your hand. If there are any questions online, please use the raised hand feature and we will promote you. Mr. Chair, there are no questions.
Okay. This time the meeting will proceed. Will the department please read the first request into the record, which will be followed by a brief slide presentation.
Mr. Chair, with your permission, just a couple of housekeeping items. First, welcome to Mr. Gilman, this first meeting with the Board of Adjustment. Thanks for being here. And if you could use your microphones, remember we're on Zoom and Ms. Tallman makes her life a little easier if we talk into them. So thank you. The first item on tonight's agenda is BA 22-25, Mint Martini Restaurant, care of Rapal Patel, 2490 Taylor Road, Wildwood, Missouri, 63040, Dearborg's Town Center. Request exceptions to the sign regulations as applied in the city's town center area. The exceptions are for the purpose of maintaining permanent flat signs at 2490 Taylor Road, locator number 23V320195, Dearborg's, Wildwood, Lot 1A, which would thereby authorize the 3 flat signs that have been attached to the 3 of the subject's building 4 facades. The 3 flat signs are identical in character, and each of them exceeds the following requirements of the city. The height of lettering of the sign is 36 inches in lieu of the required now 30 inches. I do want to note that on December 8th, the city council approved modifications to our sign regulations, and the height of lettering went from 24 inches to 30 inches. Item B, the internal lighting of the sign is not compliant with the site-specific ordinance for this lot and building. The site-specific ordinance governs all signage requirements within the development and requires businesses situated along Taylor Road with allowable wall signage to be externally lit or backlit. The existing signs are internally lit. And C, the subject wall signs are not fabricated with individual pin channel letters, but rather a band-style arrangement, which does not meet the minimum mounting requirement of 1 inch of separation between the applicable representation and the associated building elevation. This request is contrary to Chapter 415, 420, sign regulations of all C and M districts of the City of Wildwood zoning ordinance, Chapter 415.190, C8 Plan Commercial District regulations of the City of Wildwood zoning ordinance, and amended C8 Plan Commercial District ordinance number 1001, which was approved by the Wildwood City Council on October 13th, 2003. This request was reviewed by the Architectural Review Board at its September 11th, 2025 meeting as required by Chapter 415, 400 Sign Regulations General. It was then postponed by the applicant prior to the September 18th, 2025 Board of Adjustment meeting, and postponed again at the October 16th, 2025 and November 2025 meetings through a joint decision of the Department of Planning and applicant. This particular property is located in Ward 8, and just before Ms. Keefe begins her presentation, the department would like to enter into the record the following items. Chapter 400, Article 2, the Board of Adjustment of the City of Wildwood Municipal Code. Chapter 415 of the same City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the zoning ordinance. The file that has been developed and maintained by the Department of Planning regarding this particular request and all contents contained therein, including the department's recommendation report. And then finally, any testimony or evidence that's provided as part of tonight's hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board.
Thank you, Director Vunicich. Ms. Keefe?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, our first case this evening concerns a subject property that is part of a large downtown district development in our Wildwood Town Center. This district is 18 acres in size and covered by 6 buildings that are 144,000 square feet in size. One of these buildings is the Deerberg Supermarket. The subject building of this request is one of 4 linear types that are located along Taylor Road, with it being the southernmost one of those. The subject building is 1 story in height and located on the southernmost end of Taylor Road, as stated. It does have a noticeable prominence from Taylor Road, given that it is at a higher elevation than it. The building is 6,600 square feet in size and distinctive in its architecture, with a tower at its southwestern facing elevation. The building does adjoin a private commercial plaza converted to an outdoor patio area with bar by a previous tenant, a portion of it. It is zoned C8 Planned Commercial District. The request is to have lettering of the sign at 36 inches in lieu of 30 inches. Internal lighting versus external, an external type, and a band style arrangement of lettering, not of the pinned on type, which does not meet the minimum mounting requirement of 1 inch separation between sign and wall. Three signs have been installed without city authorization or county permits on the east, north, and southwestern elevations of the building, the subject building. Here is one of the signs. All signs are identical, so this is what all of the signs look like. This is on the east elevation of the building. And then this is just a farther perspective that gives you that entire facade of the east elevation. This is looking east from the subject building at the Deerbergs Shopping Center. This is looking at the northern elevation of the building. And this is a step back, also looking at that northern elevation with that patio area. This is looking northwest from the subject building. That's Taylor Road in the back there. And this is the southwestern elevation and tower component of the building. And this is looking southwest from that elevation. And again, that's Taylor Road that we're looking at there. And then that's looking northwest, also at Taylor Road. As stated, the Architectural Review Board did review this request on September 11th, 2025. At the time, our prior sign regulations were in place, so they did have this requirement. Now this is no longer a requirement. However, the Architectural Review Board did review it. They noted their concerns that the 3 flat signs were installed without benefit of review or permits. However, it was noted that the signs were proportional to the size of the building and looked appealing. It was recommended to the board at that time that if approved, the approval should be conditioned upon the signs meeting all other requirements of the city's regulations. For example, there was concern about internally lit signs potentially not adhering to the city's outdoor lighting requirements if this condition were not stipulated. There have been a number of variances granted to other tenants and owners of buildings in the same shopping center area. And those are all included in your report. That concludes my presentation at this time. If the board members have any questions of the Department of Planning, Director Vunich and I are available to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Mr. Sprunger, you have a question?
I just have a real quick one. So the sign is internally lit, right? Okay, so in one of the pictures, you had a picture of Deerbergs. How is that sign lit?
Mr. Sprunger, when Deerbergs proposed the shopping center, they made certain requirements of the city that if they were granted, they would proceed forward, and if not, they would not. And one of them was that their supermarket facility and all the inline retail tenants that adjoin it would have the option of not only backlit, externally lit signs, but also internal. So it is an accommodation to probably get a use everybody in town wanted.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Sprunger.
Yeah. I'm sorry, are you done? Okay. Robin, would you put up the slide again about all the variances that have been given?
Yes.
And are any of those, there's one, number 3, is it did not approve the sign height 29 inches. Are these ones that were approved or ones that were just submitted?
These are signs that were submitted. Some were approved and some were denied.
Okay, so the third one down that says that you denied one before, way back in 2005 for the Applebee's restaurant, that was a height issue, obviously, right? 29 instead of 24. Okay. Have there been, without reading all through them, have there been other height issues, inches, that have been approved?
Mr. Berliner, yes. Principally in Town Center, we generally see variance requests for 2 things. One is the lighting requirement. The other is the height of lettering. And as I mentioned, the City Council about 2 weeks ago tried to start addressing some of the consistent items that we hear about from the businesses, and then obviously you have to address if it becomes a large enough issue.
And this one is considered a large enough issue that it's,
Certainly, of the 4 outbuildings along Taylor Road, this is the largest by far and most prominent. And it's had a number of restaurants come and go. And so from the perspective of the Economic Development Committee of City Council, retaining businesses that have basically moved into Wildwood, taken the chance is a high priority. And so that is why the department requested multiple postponements, so we can find a solution that's workable for the owner of the business, Ms. Patel, but also one that retains the consistency we seek in our signage, particularly along Taylor Road.
do I understand that these signs were originally installed without permit?
Yes, and the department will take a partial blame for that, in that there were a number of things, there were a lot of moving parts when the last tenant left the building and Mint Martini moved in. And I don't think they left it in the condition that we had hoped, and there was just a scramble to get things moving along. Ms. Patel did everything that we had talked about. We did talk about signage. It was just one of those things that kind of went to the side, and we were focused on reoccupancy, cleaning up the property, and then getting the business license approved.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Is this the time to ask questions about, like, in your recommendation, it seems like the key issue that you all have identified is the lighting. Is this the time to talk a little bit about that, or should we wait till your recommendation?
It's entirely up to the board. If they like to have the questions answered now, we can. If you'd like to wait, we can certainly wait. I'm at your disposal.
Okay, well, since we're rolling, I will ask the question then. So it appears as if the lighting is the issue. Is it, am I reading the recommendation correctly that the city would be in support of the signage if they could find an externally lit solution to the sign?
Mr. Sprunger, that is a very concise assessment, yes. In the hierarchy of priorities, the adherence of the signs, that 1 inch separation is required and important, but certainly doesn't rise to the level of the height of signage or the lettering itself. And then above that, given that all of the other businesses along Taylor Road have external lighting, that becomes the critical one. And the separation between the back of the back portion of the lettering and the facade and the height of lettering, which we've just increased again, as I mentioned, I think the department can certainly concurs with the Architectural Review Board. They're proportional. I think they're attractive signs. If we can externally light them, I think we have a solution.
Thank you.
Yep, I think it's a good time to call Ms. Patel up again. If you please come up, state your name, address, relationship to this property, and we'll get you sworn in.
My name is Ripal Patel and address is 2490 Taylor Road, Farmington Martini, Indian cuisine.
And you are the
I'm
owner?
owner of the property, restaurant.
We'll get you sworn in here. You're on mute, Courtney.
Got it. Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I solemnly swear the testimony I'm giving is going to be true and true.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Patel, if you could please state the nature of the request and the hardship, As a reminder, you have 15 minutes inclusive of the board's questions unless the chair allows additional time.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
we already discussed all about the sign, it is the issue with the lightning of the sign, and I'm ready to do all the adjustment they want us to do. So that is all.
Yeah, it looked like the electric was there already, correct? So, perfect. All right. Mr. Sprunger, does that help your?
I think
Yes.
so. What I'm hearing from you is that you'll work with the city to figure out how to get external lighting.
Yes.
Well, good for you. Good. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Just a point of record, these signs were created, I think, over in India.
Yes.
Yeah, so that
Yes.
was going to be
So
quite a
we have
hardship.
to do it externally lit. We have to completely turn off the lights, and we have to put the external lamps on the top of that, which will give that a light.
But it'll allow you to keep the signs.
Yes.
Any other questions for Ms. Patel? Go ahead. Yes. Hit the button. Yep.
So I wanted to ask about how many lighted, internally lit signs there were inside the parking lot, facing Deerbergs and so forth.
The outbuildings all have requirements relating to external lighting, even if the sign is on, let's say, the east side of the building facing toward Deerbergs. All of the inline retail and Deerbergs and their multiple signs are all internally illuminated, pardon me. And again, as was provided by the department in response to a question, that was one of the items that Deerbergs Market said that they had to have if they were going to move to Wildwood. So we have a mix of signage in the development, and we also have a mix of lighting requirements.
So would it be inconsistent if the sign that faced the parking lot towards Deerbergs was internally lit? Would that be inconsistent with the rest of the design?
Generally speaking, yes. As I mentioned, the outbuildings were kind of the Maginot line for the city. It's like, okay, we can accommodate the supermarket, the inline components, the retail that adjoins the supermarket, but we really feel that Taylor Road should have that new urbanism look and feel. And so the thought was it has to be externally illuminated. We've actually expanded that now, and there's backlit signage, meaning it's the halo that forms around the individual letters. But all in all, as Ms. Patel mentioned, and I think the chair reiterated, the past tenant did have external lighting, so it is wired for such. And I would just say it's from a perspective of the department when explaining to other tenants in the center why we have a mix on the single building, it'd probably be easier from the department's perspective. Now, this doesn't mean the board's perspective that we're consistent.
So none of the buildings like in this Panera St. Louis Bread Company line have internally lit signs that are facing the parking lot and Deerbergs. Is that correct?
Some are halo or backlit, some are external, but there should be no internal lighted signs.
Facing Deerbergs, only the ones along the Deerbergs
Yep.
line have internally lit signs.
Yes,
So
sir.
for that reason, you would say that all of the 3 signs should be externally lit at the new restaurant.
That would be the department's perspective, acknowledging too that if the board were to follow department's recommendation, the lettering height would be 6 inches taller than now what is authorized, and it would be a different type of sign. Again, the Architectural Review Board thought it was a very nice sign, and I wouldn't argue with them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions for Ms. Patel or the department? Thank you. At this time, we'll open up the floor to any speakers in the audience that may want to speak in favor or opposition to this request. As a reminder, each speaker will have 5 minutes to present inclusive of the board's questions unless the chair allows additional time.
Mr. Chair, I have no speakers cards for this item, and the individuals online both represent other. departments.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Would anybody like to hear an oral presentation of the department's report? Seeing none, any final comments from the department?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members of the board, the department appreciates the comments and questions tonight relative to its recommendation report. The department does have items in the finding of fact that does speak to the fact that the signs were installed without the benefit of permits, and certainly tonight the department's assumed partial blame for that. But with the alteration in lighting, the department believes that the impact of the variance will be minimized, which is a key component next to the physical hardship or unique circumstance that we consider collectively. And so tonight, the board is recommending approval of the variance conditioned on external lighting of the 3 signs. If there are any questions for Ms. Keefe or I, we'd be certainly glad to try to answer them at this time. And thank you again.
Thank you, Director Bunich. Any final comments for the department?
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will close the proceeding for a vote. Can I have a vote to approve, a vote to deny, or approve with conditions?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance request subject to external lighting conditions for the 3 signs mentioned in the variance request.
Before you amend that, would you like to use the word only externally?
Sure.
I just think it's a nuance. Yeah, I would go ahead and restate your motion.
I'll restate the motion. Make a motion to approve the variance request subject to the 3 signs that are subject of the request illuminated by external lighting sources only.
Do we have a second for that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bertolino. Mr. Morris, how do you vote?
Approve.
Mr. Bertolino?
Approve.
Mr. Sprunger?
Approve?
Mr. Gilman? Approve. And I approve as well. Congratulations. Your variance is approved with the conditions as stated. Thank you. Department, please proceed to the next petition.
Mr. Chair, the next item is BA 3625. Tom Roberts, 500 Lori Lane, Wildwood, Missouri, 63005, requests an exception to the minimum yard requirements general, minimum lot area requirements, and permitted land uses and developments for the purpose of converting an existing firehouse into a single-family dwelling with an accessory dwelling to be included upon the property located at 18424 Wild Horse Creek Road, locator number 19W410269, which would thereby authorize a front yard setback distance of 20 feet in lieu of the required 50-foot standard, and cause the consideration of the Director of Planning's interpretation of the definition for single-family and accessory dwellings as applied to this particular living arrangement. This request is contrary to the requirements of Chapter 415.030 definitions and Chapter 415.090 NU non-urban resident district regulations of the City of Wildwood zoning ordinance, Ward 1. And again, before Ms. Keefe begins the presentation of slides, the department would like to enter into the record the following items. Chapter 400, Article 2, the Board of Adjustment of the City of Wildwood Municipal Code. Chapter 415 of the same City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the zoning ordinance. The file that has been developed and maintained by the Department of Planning relative to this particular petition and all contents contained therein, including the department's recommendation report. And then finally, Mr. Chair, any testimony or evidence that is offered as part of tonight's hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Bunich. Ms. Keith?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the location of the next request is a subject property that was formerly owned by the Monarch Fire Protection District and used for many decades as one of the primary firehouses serving the city of Wildwood. The property is located on the south side of Wild Horse Creek Road, just west of Highway 109. The surrounding land use pattern in this area is very rural and primarily residential properties, most which are over 3 acres in size and heavily wooded. The subject property is 1 acre, which is consistent with the requirements of St. Louis County back in that time period from 1948 to 1965, where large parts of its unincorporated area adhered to that minimum lot area of 1 acre. It is zoned non-urban residence district. This site was sold to the petitioner after the fire district completed its new station, which is now located east on Wild Horse Creek Road. The new station opened in 2025. The subject building is 6,521 square feet in area and distinctive in its architecture, given that it is a firehouse. There are 6 parking spaces associated with it, a very wide driveway access area, and large overhead doors facing Wild Horse Creek Road. The character of the site does reflect its location along the ridge line of Wild Horse Creek Road. The property is relatively flat. There are several large mature trees upon the lot. Here is the site plan submitted by the petitioner. The petitioner is seeking an exception to the minimum yard requirements of the city, given the fire station is at a 20-foot building line, whereas the non-urban residence district requires 50 feet from the road right-of-way line or easement. So they are looking for a 20-foot minimum yard requirement. Also, the petitioner is looking to convert the firehouse into a single-family dwelling with an accessory dwelling located within it, requiring consideration of the Director of Planning's interpretation of the definition for single-family and accessory dwellings. And many of those definitions are included in your report this evening. The unique nature of this building and size does accommodate the need, and here's the floor plan so you can see how it would be separated. It does accommodate the need associated with a family member and recent health incident that requires care on a 24-hour basis. There is thus a need for a live-in health professional, but non-related, to live within the single-family dwelling, which does not meet the definition of an accessory dwelling for the purposes of the housekeeping unit. So that's the primary portion of the definition that needs to be considered. This is looking southeast at the front of the building. This is looking east along Wild Horse Creek Road. This is looking west upon it. This is looking east at the western elevation of the building. This is looking north towards Wild Horse Creek Road in the parking lot area. And this is looking south in that same area towards the rear of the property. This is south, looking at the rear yard. And this is looking east at the access to those large overhead doors. This is on the other side of the firehouse on the eastern side. This is looking south. And this is just a continuation south to give you a sense of what's behind there. This is looking southeast at the closest neighbor. and this is looking south. This is looking southwest. The applicant provided the department 3 letters of support in favor of the request, as well as this map showing what property is owned by the applicant, where the letters were received, and which properties are tenant occupied around the firehouse. So it can give you a sense of what the surrounding uses are and thinking. The department also received 1 written comment in opposition from this individual here that's further north on Etherton Road and not directly around the subject property. And that concludes my presentation at this time. If you have any questions of the Department of Planning, Director Vunich and I are available to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Any questions? All right. At this time, will the petitioner please come forward, state his or her name, address, relationship to the property, and then be sworn in by the court reporter?
My name is Tom Roberts, 500 Lori Lane, Wildwood.
And your relationship to the property, Mr. Roberts?
I own the property.
We get you sworn in here.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Roberts, if you could, please explain the nature of the request of the hardship or practical difficulty necessitating the variance. As a reminder, you have 15 minutes to present, inclusive of the board's questions, unless the chair allows additional time.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking to modify this 60-year-old property that was a former firehouse into living residence for 2 independent people. The building is 60 years old, and if you've ever been in the firehouse, it's just 6 bedrooms and a kitchen. Really not much, or it's surprising how basic it is. So my intent is to gut the building out, keep the exterior exactly as it is with 2 ingress and egress points that will not change, and convert it into 2 living arrangements. My 40-year-old daughter about 2 years ago had a massive stroke and needs full-time care. She currently lives on the road, which is about 350 feet from the firehouse, which is the same road we live on. So the intent is to build this out and have her live there, which is still very close to us, and have a caregiver with her there also. I think there's a lot of advantages to doing this. One, it would upgrade the area because there has not been any improvements made to that firehouse in many years. If you look from the presentation they put on, there was a lot of impervious surfaces, a lot of asphalt, a lot of parking areas because they had many firemen there at one time that had their cars parked there. That won't be necessary anymore. I would take out both those parking lots on the east and west. It will not be a commercial business anymore. It'll be residence. Neither our daughter or the caregiver are married, so it's going to be 2 people there full time. So there won't be the density will be a lot less. Before they had at least 6 full-time firemen there. Now there will be 2 people there. That'll be it. Another advantage, I think, is there won't be any noise like there was with the firehouse. You had trucks coming and going at all times and hours of the night. I think it will be also an advantage getting rid of all that, the parking lots and making it look better. As far as the ownership around there, to the south of Wild Horse Creek, I own 91% of the property that surrounds this firehouse. I own to the west, which is wooded, own to the south, and numerous lots on Lori Lane. And as the person said earlier, Robin said earlier, I have 3 letters of approval from neighbors. So that is what I'm asking for at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Any questions?
Eric,
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Morris.
what are you gonna do with those big doors? What are you gonna do with those? You gonna brick that front up?
I'm sorry, the big doors?
Are you gonna brick that front up?
No, we're not going to break that up. We're going to leave, we want to keep the historical look of the firehouse. So we're going to fix the doors up, and we will probably paint the glass to make it so you can't see through it, so that it's some privacy, but we will fix up the exterior doors and the brick itself.
I mean, the front, the way it looks now, the firehouse. The doors will be intact, I mean,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Have you had a chance, Mr. Roberts, to read the department's report?
I have.
They have a couple conditions, if you will. Anything of concern there? Anything that,
No, there was 2 conditions. I'm fine with those.
anything else?
Well, let me just I'll tell you what, before I,
Yeah, you want to take a look?
yeah, I want to go
Yep.
back over those. There was 2 conditions, and I don't have them here. Joe, do you have those handy? The first one was for non-family member to occupy the accessory dwelling as a caregiver. And I think it says it's limited to the current owner of the property, and I'm okay with that. So as long as I own it, that's fine. And then they talk about the architecture, about being part of favorable action. So I'm okay with both of these.
Anything else you want to add to that, Mr. Director Munich?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mr. Roberts was kind enough to provide us the layout of the interior improvements along with a description of the changes to the exterior. And since Mr. Roberts was planning to proceed forward with it, we thought it'd be a reasonable condition to ensure that. And that's the second of the 2. And as long as Mr. Roberts or a family member by birth, marriage, or adoption owns the property, the variance would run with it. But if it were sold to someone else, then the allowance for that accessory dwelling would change.
I'm fine with that.
Mr. Schwanger, you have a question? Okay, thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you.
At this time, are there any speakers in the audience who may want to speak in favor or opposition to this request? As a reminder, each speaker has 5 minutes to present, inclusive of the board's questions, unless the chair allows additional time. Sir.
Mr. Chair, I again. oh,
You have
I
speakers.
Now have a speaker's card from Larry McGowan, who is here to speak on this matter.
Mr. McCown, if you could state your name, address, relationship to this property, and we'll get you sworn in.
My name is Larry McGowan. I live at 18538 Wild Horse Creek Road. Is that all you need?
So you are a nearby neighbor? Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. Yep.
Yes,
We'll get you-
probably 2 or 3 properties away from where I live.
We'll get you sworn in here, Mr. McCown.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
Board, I just want to add my statement to what's already been said as far as the support for the property, the proposed use for it and so forth. I've lived in that area now for 31 years. I've heard the fire trucks go by every day of the week, that sort of thing, and have been very appreciative of the fact that they were there. I'm also glad they moved it reasonably close
Yep.
to that location. I think this would be a tremendous addition or an improvement, if you will. I have known Mr. Roberts for quite some time, and I know that the types of improvements he has made to his property are always first-class types of improvements. And I know that it will help our general area there by having his ownership of the property and using it in accordance with his proposals. So I'm definitely in support of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gowan. Any other speakers online? Ms. Keefe?
Mr. Chair, the two individuals online again represent their petition.
Would anybody like to hear the oral presentation of the department's report? Seeing none, at this time, Director Vunish, do you want to make any final comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members of the board, the Department of Planning is supporting this particular request. Caveat to that is the department believes it has interpreted the definitions appropriately relative to accessory dwelling, single-family dwelling, housekeeping unit, etc. The circumstances here certainly are unique in terms of the age of the individual and the situation that the individual or family members have. And the department believes it's appropriate for the board to consider this particular request favorably. Besides assisting the family in a time of need, certainly the improvements to the property will go a long way in support of the neighborhood and the individuals and property owners there. So tonight, the department is recommending the board approve the requested variance with the two conditions that have been described earlier. If there are any questions regarding the report and recommendation, Ms. Keefe and I are be glad to try to answer them at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Vunish. Any questions for the department?
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we will close the proceeding for a vote. Can I have a motion to approve, a motion to deny, or a motion to approve with conditions? Sure, Mr. Berlino.
Yeah, I'd like to move that we approve the petition's variance with the two conditions as stated by the Department of Planning.
Do we have a second for that?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. So we have a motion to approve with the conditions as stated by the department on the department's recommendation report. Mr. Morris, how do you vote?
Approve.
Mr. Sprunger?
Approve.
Mr. Bertolino?
Approve.
Mr. Gilman?
Approve.
And I approve as well. Congratulations. Your variance is approved with the conditions as we stated. Thank you. Go to the next.
Mr. Chair, the third case tonight of 4, BA 3725, Mark Gilman. No relationship, I believe, to our new board member. 2646 Highway 109, Wildwood, Missouri 63040, care of Jackson Layton, landmark sign USA 175 Chesterfield Industrial Boulevard, Chesterfield, Missouri 63005. Request an exception to the business signs attached to wall for the purpose of erecting one wall sign attached to the building, with such being located upon the property at 2646 Highway 109, locator number 24V 420494, Westridge Office Center Re-Subdivision Lot 3, which would thereby authorize the height of lettering to be 41 inches in lieu of the required 24 inches, and displays of lettering that are not individual letters, pinned on only types, as required by the town center plans guidelines. Pardon me. These sign requirements are stipulated by Chapter 415.420, sign regulations for all C&M districts of the City of Wildwood zoning ordinance, Chapter 415.190, C8 Plan Commercial District regulations of the City of Wildwood zoning ordinance, and C8 Plan Commercial District Ordinance number 841. This particular property is located in Ward 8. And again, before Ms. Keefe begins her presentation of slides, the department would like to enter into the record the following items. Chapter 400, Article 2 of the City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the Board of Adjustment. Chapter 415 of the same City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the zoning ordinance. The file that has been developed and maintained by the department regarding this particular request and all contents contained therein, including the department's recommendation report. And then finally, Mr. Chair, any testimony or evidence that are provided as part of tonight's hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Munuch. Ms. Keefe?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the next request this evening involves a subject site that is a 9,600 square foot lot on the east side of Highway 109, just south of New College Avenue. It is one of 7 properties that are part of the West Ridge Office Center. 6 buildings are on the site, which combined have approximately 50,000 square feet of space between them. Just south of New College, just south of this property is residential properties. But across Highway 109 to the west is the Wildwood YMCA. Further west is St. Louis Community College. North is the fire station headquarters. So that gives you an idea of what some of the surrounding land uses are. And I should mention there is quite a bit of commercial development as well around there. The subject building is 2 stories in height and 10,622 square feet in area. The building was built in 2003. It's served by 35 parking spaces. The front facade and primary entrance of it face State Route 109, one of the city's main arterials. It is zoned C8 Planned Commercial District and is designated Workplace District as the per the Town Center regulating plan. The complex is made up of office uses. The request this evening is to erect a permanent wall sign for a shared office workspace facility designed for freelancers, entrepreneurs, startups, and remote workers, which would authorize the total representation, which includes the pinned on and channel letters, spacing, and logo at a height of 41 inches in lieu of 30 inches, and lettering of the non-pinned on type. In this case, the letters are pinned to a colored backer board in lieu of the wall, which is required by the city's regulations. All right, this is looking southeast at the subject building. This is looking southeast, and this would be the location of the signage. And that's a closer up view of that location. This is looking south. The subject building is just to the left in this photo or to the east. This is looking west from the building. So you can see that there is a building between it and Highway 109 behind there. This is looking north, northwest. And this is looking north with this being the subject building and then this being another building to the north of it. This is the rear side of the building looking south. And this is a final view of the signage location looking east. That concludes the department's presentation at this time. If the board members should have any questions, we are available to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Any initial questions, board?
Yeah, Jared? Yeah, Robin, go back to the picture of the proposed sign on the building. Okay, I was gonna say there's an architectural feature on the gable of that building, and this sign does not cover that up. Is that right?
That is correct.
The sign's below that architectural feature of the cross. Okay,
Any other questions for Ms. Keefe? Okay. At this time, will the petitioner please come forward, state his or her, the nature of his or her request or hardship necessitating the variance. As a reminder, you have 15 minutes to present, inclusive of the board's questions, unless the chair allows more time.
Mr. Chair, just give me one moment to promote Mr. Jackson Layton, who will be representing.
Robin, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Can you see me? Because the screen is all black on my end. While you were presenting, it just went black. I don't know if looks like the camera's on. But I can't see anything.
Is there anyone else on our panel able to see anything?
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Are you, can you hear me?
yeah, I can.
Okay. I think.
Mr. Layton,
Yes, sir.
if you could, please state your name, address, relationship to this property, and then we'll get you sworn in. And it
Yeah,
appears
my-
your camera's blocked as well, Mr. Layton, just FYI.
Sorry, I'm trying to, I think it's something with my computer itself.
If you
I'm not,
shift to your left a little bit. There you are.
can you see me okay?
Yes, sir. If you could just state your name, relationship to this property, and we'll get you sworn in.
Sure. My name is Jackson Layton. I am the representative from the sign company working with NX Workspace to get this up. The address for the property is 2646 Highway 109, Wildwood, Missouri.
We'll get you sworn in here.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Layton, if you could please explain the nature of the request, the hardship that necessitates the variance, and we got 15 minutes, and then we'll have some questions, I imagine.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So the nature of the request is we are proposing a sign that is exceeding Wildwood's height code for wall signs of 24 inches, I guess now 30 inches, as a 41-inch sign, as well as the non-individual pin-on letters. So the sign we are proposing is going, as you could tell from the proof or the design proof that Robin showed, it is actually not channel letters. The sign is non-lit itself, and they are white cut acrylic, half-inch white cut acrylic letters. The actual and workspace itself are all going to be individual, not non-lit dimensional letters that will be on those pin-on stud mounts. And the actual logo itself will also be that it's just on that backer. And the reason why we have that backer and want to stay with this design is because this design specifically, as well as the format, has grown synonymous with the NX Workspace's brand. They have numerous locations throughout the St. Louis County area. And this is a main, I guess, point to a main way that they attract their customers. As Robin stated earlier, as well as part of the presentation, part of their business model is allowing office space to be rented by not only the public, but other businesses from in-state, out-of-state, people that are able to meet on a neutral ground and feel like they have a good opportunity to meet with potential clients, coworkers, things of that nature. So I think it's very important that the customer, or excuse me, that NX Workspace and Mr. Gelman are allowed to proceed, if possible, with this design, as it really is just synonymous for them, and in turn will bring a lot of business to the city of Wildwood as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Layton. Any initial questions for Mr. Layton? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
At this time, any speakers in the audience that may want to speak in favor or opposition to this request?
Mr. Chair, I have no speakers cards.
Okay.
And the individual online represents the next vote.
Would anybody like to hear the oral presentation of the department's report? Any final comments from the Department of Planning?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the department is supporting this variance request this evening. The location, there is a bit of a difficulty for the petitioner in that this building is located behind another building set back from Highway 109. So visibility is a little tougher in that location. Also, in looking at the impacts of the sign, it should be noted that it should not be visible from any residential properties surrounding the area, only commercial uses. And finally, the tall lettering does fit the space in this case, given the tall elevation of the building. So the department is supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Any final comments, the board? At this time, we will close the proceeding for a vote. Can I have a motion to approve, a motion to deny, or a motion to approve with conditions?
I will make a motion to approve the variance request as submitted.
Do we have a second for approval?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bertolino. Mr. Morris, how do you vote?
Approve.
Mr. Sprunger?
Approve.
Mr. Bertolino?
Approve.
Mr. Gilman? Approve. And I as well approve. Congratulations, your variance is approved.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Layton. Move in right to the next one.
Mr. Chair, our final item on the agenda tonight, besides the minutes, is BA 3825, David and Anita Nash, 16436 Bayshore Cove Court, Wildwood, Missouri, 63040, care of Connor Water, Straight Up Solar, 11696 Lilburn Park Road, St. Louis, Missouri, 63146. Request an exception to the building mounted solar energy systems for the purpose of installing a grid tier roof-mounted solar photovoltaic array upon the residence located at the property at 16436 Bayshore Cove Court, located number 24U 531078, the Cove at Lake Chesterfield, Lot 37, which would thereby authorize installation of all black modules in lieu of silver frame type that matches the roof color, with such being contrary to the Director of Planning's interpretation of complementary and compatibility regarding these contrasting colors of its components. This requirement is stipulated by Chapter 415.630 Solar Energy System Regulations of the City of Wildwood Zoning Ordinance and Planned Environment Unit, parenthetical PEU, MXD, Mixed Use Development District Ordinance Number 17108, which was originally approved by the St. Louis County Council in 1985 and amended since by the City of Wildwood. This particular property is located in Ward 7. And before Ms. Keefe provides the slide presentation to the board members, the department would like to enter into the record the following items. Chapter 400, Article 2 of the City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the Board of Adjustment, Chapter 415 of the same City of Wildwood Municipal Code, the zoning ordinance, the file that has been developed and maintained by the Department of Planning regarding this particular request, and all contents contained therein, including the department's recommendation report, and then finally, Mr. Chair, any testimony or evidence that are provided as part of tonight's hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Unich. Ms. Keefe?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, our final case this evening involves a subject property that is a residential lot platted as part of the Cove at Lake Chesterfield subdivision. The Lake Chesterfield subdivision has 68 single-family dwellings on individual lots associated with it. The subject property is just east and south of town center. It is part of a larger amended mixed use district and is also associated with a planned environment unit approved by St. Louis County. The subject lot is 0.13 acres in size. A single family dwelling sits upon the lot that was built in 1995 with 1,926 square feet of living area. It is a ranch type of home with a gray colored roof and white siding. There is The rear yard abutting this property is common ground. That's part of the Harbors at Lake Chesterfield subdivision. And that common ground area is heavily wooded. The petitioner seeks an exception, exception to the building mounted solar energy systems regulations for the purpose of installing a grid tied roof mounted solar photovoltaic array upon the residence. The petitioner does desire all black panels in lieu of the lighter colored type. So here is the all black panels, and this is the lighter colored type that match the roof shingles, with such being contrary to the director's interpretation of complementary and compatibility as required by the city's regulations. The petitioner notes that the panels are not front facing, given the design of the house has a ridge line perpendicular to the roadway. This is just location of the panels upon the roof. This is looking east at the front of the dwelling. And this is looking northeast at the location the panels would be installed upon the roof. This is looking north behind the dwelling towards the common ground area behind it. This is looking northwest at Bayshore Cove Court. And that's looking south at that same road. This is looking northeast towards the neighboring residence. And this is looking northeast to the other neighboring residence. And here you can see also standing back from the dwelling, the visibility of the location of the panels upon the roof. At this time, I'll conclude my presentation, and Director Vunich and I are available for any initial questions.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Mr. Sprunger, do you have a question?
Yeah, maybe a real quick one. So you, Ms. Keefe, you showed two pictures or illustrations of the solar panels, one that's all black, one that is not all black, right? It is, okay, yeah, that. This particular version, is that okay with the city?
No.
Oh, it's not.
Unfortunately, the department has to make a determination in this particular case, what is complementary and compatible. Black on gray is, in the interpretation of the department, contrasting colors and not compatible nor complementary. The fact that they're the support framing and they're ringing, so to speak, around the panels doesn't necessarily offset that concern.
So, what color would it need to be?
Years ago, they used to have white panels or silver panels, and that would complement the gray color. The industry will tell you now that for the most part, all the panels are the black color.
So does that basically mean a person who wants to put solar panels on their house can't be in compliance with the city's regulations?
We've accommodated beige, dark brown, black roofing, and combinations of those in different shades. White and gray roofs, shingle colors are difficult when the industry is only providing black colored panels, so to speak.
So because this person happens to have shingles that color, they have no way of putting on a solar powered grid system.
Yes,
that
there
right?
is a way, the Board of Adjustment. And when City Council established the regulations for solar energy systems, There was a discussion about this particular component, and the department pleaded with them about the difficulty in making these determinations.
Sure.
And the response was Board of Adjustment. And that's why it is here tonight.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr.
Yeah,
Bergen.
Robin, couple of questions. Number one is, in terms of hardship, is there a major cost for the homeowner difference if they go with the all black? Is that what you're saying, Joe? Is that they have to have the all black, or they can't have the all black because it isn't compatible with the gray shingles, right?
That's correct. The
So there's
latter of
really
the-
there's no alternative for this homeowner, given the industry's limited number of or selection of colors that they can have on there.
That is the hardship.
Okay, all right, good. And as a hardship. Okay, the second question is, are there any other solar panels installed in this subdivision? And a corollary question is, does the HOA in this organization, in this subdivision, have a say in this? And do they have their own regulations in some way?
Mr. Bertolino, I don't know if the Cove, pardon me, I don't know in this particular subdivision, the Cove at Lake Chesterfield, if other solar panel installations have occurred. We are seeing a rush of them right now due to the federal legislation's going to change. The credits that were formerly available will disappear on December 31st. So we've got a lot in, but this is the only one in this particular subdivision. When the department visited the location to make the determination, the interpretation, I didn't see any others, but certainly there could be. In terms of the homeowners association, I think one of the problems is that state legislatures kind of negated any authority the homeowners associations have over solar panels. It's now fallen solely to the city.
I just want to note, as a follow-up to Director Bunch's explanation, the owner did submit an approval from the homeowners association, so they're supporting the request.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. At this time, we'll call the petitioner forward. Please state his or her name, address, relationship to the property, and then we'll get you sworn in by the court reporter.
Hi, my name is Camille Bug. I'm here from Straight Up Solar on behalf of the Nash residence located at 16436 Bayshore Cove Court, Wildwood, Missouri 63040.
Get you sworn in here.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
If you could, please explain the nature of the request and the hardship necessitating the variance.
Yeah, hi. So thank you for the time this evening, and thank you to Mr. Vunich for all of his work and hearing out our hardship on this project as well. So just like we just talked about, there are no modules really on the market. Our company, we do not sell any modules that are all gray or all black. The industry standard is to have that black backing on modules. And then as you can see, there are some hardware options, the silver lined modules and the all black modules. This customer chose the all black modules because they thought they looked better, a little bit more sleek, a nice same color for the entire module. And also the production of these modules is higher than the ones shown with the silver. So they get basically more bang for their buck that way. The modules themselves can harvest more solar. And so this location, the modules that we're going to be installing on the roof do not face the road. We did see those views of where you would be able to see this array a little bit if you drove past, but it's not a straightforward front-facing situation. And we do have all of our other approvals, like we've talked about. We have the HOA approval. We also have had this project reviewed by the county, building and electrical, and they are okay with this project as well. They cannot give us our permit until we have Wildwood's approval, of course. Ameren, Missouri has given their approval, and we've done all of the steps that we can to get this customer installed by the end of the year deadline for being eligible for that solar tax credit. As far as any other aspects of this application and this project, there really are no alternatives. The customer isn't really interested in the Silverline modules. They really would only like to do the all black. And like others have mentioned, this is the only way to get solar energy to this customer.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the petitioner? Okay. Any speakers in the audience that want to speak in favor or opposition to this request?
Mr. Chair, I have no speakers cards and no individuals online.
Would anybody like to hear an oral presentation of the department's report? Seeing none, we'd love to hear some final comments from the Department of Planning.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members of the board, department would like to start its presentation by acknowledging that this is a difficult discussion, but the department does believe that if the words complementary and compatibility are utilized to describe contrasting colors, black and white, black and gray are not. And so the department does believe that it's interpreted those terms as part of the regulations relating to solar energy systems correctly, but would note that there are extenuating circumstances relative to the industry and the availability of panels that would be compatible and complementary to lighter colored roofs, as well as in this particular instance, as noted in the recommendation report, the ridge line of the dwelling is actually perpendicular versus parallel, which reduces the impact substantially. So again, the department does believe it's interpreted the code correctly, but understands that in this particular instance, there are extenuating circumstances. With that, the department is available for any questions or comments, and we'd be glad to answer them at this time.
I have a real quick question. Did you mention, maybe I missed it, were there any letters or forms submitted either in support or opposition to this, and in particular, those neighbors that would be looking at the solar panels?
When the department prepared the report, there were no comments that had been submitted. Had we received any?
There's one, it appears.
We've received one comment in opposition since, but when I mapped that comment, it was well outside of the immediate neighborhood.
So the actual neighboring homeowners, we didn't hear anything from them in particular?
No.
Okay.
And as you saw from Ms. Keefe's slides, we do post the property with a sign. And we also do a mailing, I believe, within 1,000 feet of the property. So neighboring properties can certainly know of the petition and the content of the petition itself.
1,500 feet.
1,500, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Joe, is this the ultimate catch-22 that the city's going to look like we don't support solar energy, that we're a backward organization, and that the only thing standing in the way between this individual getting the solar energy is the color of the panel, right? And our ordinances are saying it's not compatible. There's the catch-22. We'd love to have panels, and so you're saying that the industry does not provide any other colors. So we're stuck, right?
Well, and I think too, Mr. Bertolino, that what's also part of that catch-22, if that's what it is my understanding is the city council said, well, this is what it is, but let the Board of Adjustment make those calls.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what I heard.
That's what I heard too.
But just to kind of give you a bit of background, up until 2023, front-facing or panels visible from any street or roadway had to go before the Planning and Zoning Commission to obtain a conditional use permit. And in many instances, the Planning and Zoning Commission were denying the permits. That's when we were accused of being not environmentally friendly. And there were articles in the Post-Dispatch. There was a lot of commentary on social media. And certainly it was a particular problem relative to us being more friendly toward these installations. The mayor at the time, Mayor Boland, engaged a survey. Survey was random and scientific. And in all 8 wards, respondents to the survey, randomly selected and the purposes of the analysis, supported solar installations. The Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council then developed regulations relative to a more favorable policy. This is the one sticking point because, again, there are individuals in our community that do not support front-facing or visible panels. And so the idea is to try to work as best as we can to allow them in a more easy way, but also ensure that if there is an egregious installation or proposed installation, we can do our best to address it. I don't know how to do that here. And that's why I encourage the property owner and the company to come to the Board of Adjustment.
Thank you, Director Munich.
You're welcome, sir.
Any other questions, comments? Mr. Gilman?
Yeah, it's all sort of confusing to me because, well, black absorbs the sunlight the best, and that would be why even a little bit of silver frame would reduce the yield of the solar energy. So it's understandable that the industry standard is all black, and that cannot be avoided, apparently. So it's almost as if we would be discriminating against houses that did not have black roofs or dark roofs, and we would be discriminating against the lighter colored roofs across the whole city. So I think the side facing or front facing it's a separate issue. And the more fundamental issue is the gray and black business. And I think that since you cannot possibly avoid black, then to encourage solar energy use in Wildwood and make us environmentally friendly, it would seem wise to allow black solar panels, regardless of the color of the roof. What do you think of that?
Mr. Gilman, I think that's logical and appropriate. If there's not an option that works with light colored roofs and our code as it's being interpreted by the department and its director precludes that, then yes, I don't think that's a fair standard. I believe after the federal tax credits are no longer available at the end of this year, the number of solar installations will probably see a decrease. And from that perspective, I think that'll be an excellent time for the department to return back to the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council and say, if we're going to have the terms compatibility and complementary as part of the code, we need to either define them so that they're more clear than an interpretation by myself, or eliminate them. And I think that period after the tax credits are gone will give us that opportunity. But I have no qualms with your argument, so to speak, or the logic of your argument.
Well, I would just reply that the cost of solar panels will continue to decrease as technology develops. So the tax credit expiring is a minor factor relative to the growth of the solar panel usage across the country and hopefully in Wildwood as well. So that may not be an issue that should stand in the way, but I appreciate that what you're saying is there will be a decrease in demand after the elimination of the tax credit, and at that time we could have a more reasoned debate over this more generally.
And I gave you the background because I think you need to understand the transition. We are going from a very restrictive policy to one that was much more favorable. And I think there is a concern that we didn't want to step too far. Maybe an intermediate step would be the best approach. What we're seeing though is exactly as Mr. Gilman described. It appears that if you have a light colored roof, we're going to be basically telling you no, regardless. If it's to the benefit of the environment, your pocketbook, or whatever situation it might be.
Any other questions, comments for the department?
Thank you.
Joe, don't run away. Yeah. If there is an approval from the board, does the petitioner need to come back to the planning department with their panel recommendation?
So as Ms. Bug mentioned, in conversations via email or voicemails with the property owners and her, the department authorized them to go, the company to proceed forward with submitting the plans to St. Louis County so they could do the review and have it completed on the, if come, so to speak. The board granted the variance. And we're ready, we're queued up as well to issue the zoning authorization, the municipal zoning authorization. So as hopefully between now and the end of the year, the panels can be placed on the roof.
Thank you.
So we took an extra step knowing that it may be a risk to the property owner and the company, but I let them make that decision, but I wasn't going to necessarily stop them from at least getting that review completed.
Yeah, and I think what I'm hearing you say too is obviously there's a sense of urgency on the part of the homeowner to get this done in the next 2 weeks, and the department is doing what it can to facilitate that should the board approve the variance.
Certainly, but don't feel pressure in that regard because Ms. Bug was told this is no guarantee. Consult with the property owners, explain the risk, and then proceed from there based upon your consensus. I have recently received a set of plans where the company went ahead and installed them and now is seeking the authorization from the city. So I appreciate the fact that this particular solar company and the property owner didn't do that. And we appreciate cooperation much more.
And by the way, I agree with you. I don't think those panels fit in with colors either.
Well, thank you.
But I think the real key point here is, to Mr. Gilman's comments as well as, what's the right thing to do here? We don't have objection from the surrounding neighbors. They're not front facing onto the street. The industry only provides certain colors. I mean, if there's ever a time to, in my opinion, approve a project like this would be the poster child for that. But that's my opinion.
And it's important to note as well that, remind the board that what we do here does not set precedents. So, we'll take them circumstances. And so the circumstances you outlined are correct and certainly unique. And nothing we do here today is setting anything in stone down the road, to be blanketed approval or non-approval. So just kind of.
And that's a very good point. I was wondering that. I appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Thank you. At this time, we will close the proceeding for a vote. Can I have a vote to, or a motion to approve, a motion to deny, or a motion to approve with conditions?
Jared?
Yes, Mr. Bruno.
I will move that we approve the petitioner's request in that they have met the hardship requirements that due to the limited color options currently available within the industry.
Do we have a second for approval?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Sprunger. Mr. Morris, how do you vote?
Approve.
Mr. Sprunger,
Approve.
Bertolino,
Approve.
Gilman,
Approve.
and I approve as well. Congratulations, the variance is approved. Thank you, Ms. Bug.
Thank you very much.
That is the last petition of the evening, so we have one more item on the agenda, which is to approve the meetings or the minutes from last month's meeting.
Mr. Chair, if I
Yes, sir.
may.
Yep.
Little shout out to Miss Keefe. If you've noticed the minutes, the Edwards case was page after page after page. So thanks to Robin for her perseverance.
Yes. Looking through it now. Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from last week's or last month's meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
And we have a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Morris, how do you vote?
Approve.
Mr. Sprunger,
Approve.
Bertolino,
Approve.
Mr. Gilman,
Approve.
and I approve as well. The minutes as typed, I guess. All right. Anything else? I know I imagine you have one more. You're always so good about reminding us the time of the year. And so go ahead, Mr. Vunich.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. You have the unique place in all of Wildwood that you kind of closed the garage door, so to speak, on all of the meetings held in 2025. You are the last to meet. And so as the last to meet, you also always meet right before the holidays. And Robin and I would like to wish you the best of the holiday season. We appreciate all you do. I say it every year. We can't do our jobs without you being here. So your volunteering to participate is much, much appreciated. And happy holidays.
Yes, thank you to the department as well. You guys do a wonderful job, and we certainly enjoy working alongside you guys. So that, without further ado, consider the meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.